This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lech Dechmusar podcast. We continue with Pele Yoeitz. We're on page 118 in the art scroll. We are day 51 of Hachzik. Now we're going to talk about the Elige Inyan, which we know from Pirkei Avos of learning Torah at the Seudah. One must be sure to share words of Torah at his table, and he should not forsake reading Torah or Mishnayos, Chumash, and if he's among a table of people that are capable, they're holding in Torah, his mouth should utter Torah. They should discuss in Yanim, Divrei Torah, in order to bring merit upon himself and to the others with him. And if they're not holding in Torah, he should at least learn by himself, teach himself a Mishnah that is well known in his mouth, different sections, excerpts from Mishnayos that a person knows. Just say a pasuk, just say a Mishnah, and whoever increases in this is praiseworthy. And the Zohar, since he has spoken at great length of the reward that comes to one who mentions the Beis HaMikdash at his meals and is pained and bothered by its absence, therefore, says the Pele Yoeitz about himself, I made it my custom, I made it my business to recite the following Braisa that mentions these feelings for the Beis HaMikdash to the table, so that it will fulfill two things. Number one, speaking Divrei Torah, and number two, realizing that even though I'm enjoying my Seudah, but I realize that we don't have everything. Even though my stomach is satiated, and even though I have koiches to do more mitzvahs and learn Torah, but Hashem is in pain, Shechina begelusa. What's that Braisa? Tanya Omer V'Yosi Pamachas Yosi Malach V'Derech. Yosi says, one time I was traveling on the road, and I entered one of the ruins of Yerushalayim to daven, to come on brachas. Tanya Rabbi Elazar Omer Shalosh Mishmaros Havi Alayla. Rabbi Elazar says, the night consists of 3 watches. Yehuda ben Tema Omer. Yehuda ben Tema says, Chulu, and it ends off with a prayer that the Beis Mikdash will be rebuilt speedily in our days. So this was the Braisa from the Gemara in Brachos that the Pele Yoeitz himself would say at his table. So number one, he's been mekayim the inyan of learning Torah by Seudah, and number two, he's talking about the Churban Abayis. Ubeshabbos ani ragel learn Mishnah Yehuda ben Tema, and on Shabbos I would say the teaching of Yehuda ben Tema. Umemes Amar V'Yechon Mishum Beisi Kol Ma'aneg Es Shabbos Noisan LeNachal BeMitzarim. I would say the Gemara from Shabbos Daf Kuf Yud Ches Amar Alf, which says whoever delights in Shabbos is granted a boundless heritage in the next world. But says the Pele Yoeitz that Lamaisa everything goes after the intentions of the heart, and therefore one should use whichever parts of the Torah talk to him, inspire him, uplift the guests, the participants at the Seudah. And this is the other Gemara brachas that Echad Amarba V'Echad Amamed Kol Shechav Libay L'Shem Shemayim. Whatever it is, there's an in to say Torah. So be mechazik in that Be'idan Atzivusa Be'idan Chedva. In times of sadness, one should relate Torah topics that reflect sadness. Tisha B'av, the 3 weeks, and in times of joy, times of Sukkot and Pesach and Purim, the Geshmaka times, talk about in none of that. Say Dvar Torah about Megillas Esther or about the Sukkah or about Chanukah, the Yivanim. How Hashem always takes care of us. But the point is, say something that's going to resonate, something that's going to uplift, inspire at your Seudah, because that will fulfill the dictum of saying Torah, bringing Torah in all your ways, wherever you are. How pleasant will his lot be, Ashreichem, to a person who takes a chelik of his Seudah and gives it over to an ani. A man's gift broadens him in this world and in the next world. And how great is it for one to raise Yisomim and Almonis, to have them, Yisomim and Yisomis, to have them in his house, female and male orphans, because if he has the orphan at his house, every single Seudah he has, he is automatically giving good to the orphans, which is a tremendous, tremendous mitzvah. And if one has lesser means and he can't be mefarnes other people at a Seudah, but at least his own children, he should have in mind that he's nourishing them, and it's almost like charity from his time and from his money that he's providing for them. And Shabbos and Yom Tovim, it is proper for people to sing Zmiris at the table, and they should raise their voice and honor Kadosh Baruch Hu with the gift of song, that for all the goodness and all the kindness that Hashem has bestowed upon him. So the idea over here, as we said, is to speak Torah, is to mention the Beis HaMikdash, is to, if you have extra food, to give it over to an ani, have Yisomim, Amanis, Yisomis, Rachman Tzlan, by your table, because you always be in the kind of mitzvah. And if a person cannot do that, he should at least have that in mind for his own children, that they are benefiting off of his time, off of his efforts, off of his money, and have that in mind. He's doing the kind of mitzvah. And lastly, sing Zmiris by Seudah, to always be in a state of always thanking Hashem. Always thanking Hashem for every breath, every step, there's no such thing as small, and always being cognizant and recognizing all the kindnesses of Kadosh Baruch Hu. One should be singing Zmiris to honor and be thankful of all that Hashem does.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.